Albuquerque city councilors could be waking up with a bit of a headache this morning after getting an earful from more than 100 people in a packed council meeting last night.
And most had strong words for city leaders. More than 100 people signed up for public comment at the council meeting last night. A handful of folks spoke in support of APD, while the majority let council know that they feel officers are crossing the line.
This city and APD are supposed to work for its citizens, and it is far time you listen to us and show us some respect.
I, my friends, family have been pulled over by APD officers, and guess what? We're still alive, no injuries, no shootings, nothing.
And Police Chief Gordon Eden sat through the entire meeting last night, but did not offer up any comment afterward. The mayor said he could not make it because he was at another meeting. Now, it's been a long time now that the Department of Justice has been investigating the Albuquerque Police Department, and now we know when we will hear the results of the probe, which could ultimately mean big changes for APD. Matt is in the Newsplex with details. Hey, Matt.
Good morning once again. Good morning once again, Elizabeth. Yeah, it's finally happening a year and a half after the Department of Justice started an official investigation into Albuquerque's police department. We're going to hear what the feds found this Thursday. This comes after APD found itself catapulted into the national spotlight after video of officers killing James Boyd in the foothills went viral. Mayor R.J. Berry, who was originally against the DOJ moving in, now sees the urgency as Albuquerque grows more divided.
We're going to be glad to get the results. It's a situation where I think as a city, particularly in light of the James Boyd officer-involved shooting incident, where we want to hear what the DOJ has to say.
Well, the Department of Justice has been doing interviews, digging through documents and reviewing videos to see if officers here have a pattern of violating people's civil rights. The feds could issue an open letter to the mayor and the police chief and recommend some major changes, including how APD hires and trains officers and how it runs its internal affairs division.
I don't want to speculate, but whatever the findings may be, it's going to be something that not only we as a department need to face, but as a community need to face.
The police union president, Stephanie Lopez, there says there are fears the department will be taken over by the feds. Now, no matter what happens, the end of the federal investigation into APD is expected to mark the beginning of a long and extensive overhaul of the police department. And Albuquerque Police Chief Gordon Eden is not saying much about the investigation, but he did send us a statement yesterday, and it reads, I quote, "This is a positive development, and we welcome the findings of the Department of Justice. As the Albuquerque Police Department has done for the past several years, we will continue to work cooperatively with the DOJ in order to implement the best practices for our community." Elizabeth?
You can count on KRQE to stay on top of the DOJ's report and all matters having to do with APD. We will have complete team coverage on the news conference on Thursday. We will also be streaming it live on KRQE.com. A group of people in Santa Fe will be holding a rally later this week over the shooting death of a woman by state police. 39-year-old Jeanette Anaya was shot to death by a state police officer back in November when they say she would not pull over for a traffic stop. Officer Oliver Wilson, who was chasing her, tried to bump her car at first. According to the Albuquerque Journal, Officer Wilson then got out of his patrol car and started firing when Anaya backed her car towards him. He fired again when Anaya started pulling away. Wilson told the grand jury that he fired a total of 16 shots. A rally in support of Anaya is set to take place on Friday. Turns out a shooting over the weekend in southwest Albuquerque might have been over beer. Bernalillo County deputies were called to a home on Barcelona around 3 o'clock Sunday morning. They say when they got there, they found Francisco Castillo with a gunshot wound to his shoulder. He is expected to survive. Officers say 18-year-old Joshua Maestes got into a dispute with Castillo over beer. They say Maestes pulled a gun. He was later arrested on a slew of charges, including aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and child abuse because a 1-year-old was present at the time.
The U.S. Supreme Court will not be taking up the case of an anti-gay photographer in Albuquerque. Back in 2006, Elaine Huguenin with Elaine Photography refused service to a same-sex couple because she says it went against her religious beliefs. The couple sued. Last year, the New Mexico Supreme Court ruled that Ms. Huguenin violated the state's Human Rights Act. Then she appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, but yesterday, justices rejected her request to hear the case. The New Mexico ACLU praises the decision, saying people can have religious beliefs, but businesses cannot.
I don't think we believe that a company has religious beliefs. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have a religious belief to support.
Laws protecting religious beliefs in cases just like this have now been introduced in 8 states, many of them citing this case from right here in New Mexico.
The Environmental Protection Agency is adding more air monitors at the waste isolation pilot plant near Carlsbad. They've been put next to the existing ones to make sure the WIP readings on airborne radiation are accurate. Last week, the first crew went underground to start investigating what caused the February leak. WIP says it doesn't know when they'll be back down underground, saying that it is making sure that crews are prepared for anything that could happen down there. A disturbing story now. Officials say they are finding fecal matter in several northwestern New Mexico rivers. According to the Farmington Daily Times, results of tests done last year by the San Juan Watershed Group revealed bacteria from human waste may be seeping into the Animas, La Plata, and San Juan rivers, both in New Mexico and Colorado. Tests for E. coli in water in Colorado actually met its state's standards, but tests conducted in the Farmington area were positive for human bacteria found in feces. The group believes the contamination is occurring downstream in New Mexico from septic systems or possibly from illegal dumping.